Good evening, gentlemen, people. I am this Grandmaster Sean Cannon of South Carolina Grand United Order of Fellows. Tonight, our show has taken a turn. We had several ladies scheduled, but for some reason or another, some what they weren't able to make it. So we're gonna have a discussion. Still, what is love? But we're gonna switch it up. What is love from the male point of view? We always hear a lot about what is love from a female point of view, but you never hear what the viewpoint from a male. So we have a special guest tonight, Brother Allen, and so we're gonna talk what is love from the male's point of view, since we don't have the female counterpart. But I think it's something that should be known and talk about. What is love from the male's point of view? How do we look at love, and how do we want to receive love from our mates? It's up to you how you want to receive it, but how do we look for the signs of finding true love in our community? For tonight, I'm gonna please like you to introduce and meet Brother Allen, and I'll let him introduce himself. He is a distinguished guest. And he is also a great friend and leader in the Grand United Order of Fellows. He is a great mentor and advisor to a lot of things. So he have a lot of good points that he could probably help us with. Because since I can't seem to find it myself, so might as well talk to somebody who already found it. So we're gonna go to Brother Allen, uh, and so as I'm trying to build and learn, I need to have a little experience and knowledge coming in on my way. So please please welcome Brother Allen. He's our keynote speaker, and I'll be asking him some questions. And if you have comments, you can always leave them on the side. We'll look at the comments and try to answer them the best way we can. But I'll let Brother Allen go ahead and get started with his introduction and telling you, giving his viewpoints, and we'll go from there. Brother Allen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alan Chalmers. I reside here in Memphis, Tennessee. Currently, I've been married, who Lord, about 26, 27 years now. Have five wonderful children. It's been a wonderful ride. However, as we talk about love, I'm not going to dive into the biblical sense of it because times are different now. It's good to look at it in a biblical sense, but we also have to understand the concept of what we're in today. And what that is, love is an action. It's an action. That four-letter word also sounds like work. In order to love, you have to put the work in to love and to also receive love. It goes both ways. Far too many times in today's time, you see people want to receive the love, but don't know how to give and show the love and how to accept that love that's coming to them. People have different mindsets and different concepts of what they feel and believe love is. As long as she's giving me this or I'm giving her this, that's me showing her that I love her. But it's not about things. It's about being there to wipe the tears from each other's eyes. It's about being there to hold each other's hands in hard times. It's about being there through the struggle. Because when there's love in relationship, there will be a struggle. It's not always going to be a bed of roses. There's going to be sometimes you can't do nothing, but it's up to your mate to hold you up and keep you grounded to ensure that you can move forward in this thing. I'll tell you a quick story because I can be a tad long-winded at times.
You good?
When I retired from the Navy in 2012, that was my first time in over 20 years not having a job. And it became a tad bit rough. because I went out. It's not that I didn't look for a job. It's just the fact that they wasn't calling me back. And it got a tad bit stressful. So me being the head of the household, being the man of the house, as time as we especially as we move closer to Christmas, I had to sit my wife and my kids down and say, hey, look, things ain't looking good right now. Don't worry though. When it gets better, daddy got it covered. So don't get hurt, don't get your feelings hurt if you don't get anything for Christmas. We got each other. Everybody understood it. We all held each other up and held firm to that. When everything changed up, everything got better. That's just one example because it could have easily went sideways. Daddy, no, this is the first time that we never got nothing for Christmas. Wife could say, baby, I don't understand this. You need to get out there and do something because this just ain't, this is not working for us. Those words never came up because the love that was always shown, and it the foundation was laid. So with that foundation being laid, it was easy for everyone to get involved and to understand what was going on and what was happening at that moment in time. See, in scenarios where the foundation isn't laid because no one's effectively listening to each other, then you have problems when things get rough. Because when things get rough, everything crumbles and falls apart. Because one thinking the other's doing something and no one's communicating with each other. And it creates turmoil, headaches, aggravation. Now you have a lot of yelling and cursing, sneaking out and doing other things, and that's not a healthy way of showing love and or receiving love.
So I have a question for you. Two
Okay.
things have always been important to me when I've been dating or involved or being with anyone. How important is sacrifice as well as communication in true love?
Me personally, I believe the sacrifice and communication go hand in hand. But we're not just talking about any type of communication. We're talking about effective communication because anybody can talk and speak, but can you effectively listen to what the person is saying and understand and empathize with what the person is saying to you? I can say all day long, I love you. But if you can't feel that or understand it, it falls on deaf ears because you already have your mind made up to what it's supposed to be. So the sacrifice comes in where I can sacrifice my time, I can sacrifice my energy, I can sacrifice things that I like to do to ensure that you're happy. The question comes in, do you receive that? Do you understand it? Because sometimes those sacrifices will get looked over and it becomes commonplace. And when it becomes commonplace, what you tend to look at now is uh, he or she always does that. Uh, he or she don't worry about what I'm doing because you're not understanding the sacrifice that person is making to make sure that you having a good time, to enjoy yourself for whatever you might want to do. I take a step back. When I was on active duty for 20 years, you know, money was crazy. When I joined the Navy, first place I went to was Charleston, South Carolina. That was my first duty station. USS Frank Cable. I wasn't making any money, no real money anyway. I barely had enough to take care of myself, let alone a wife and a child. But we made it work. My concept was I'm in uniform all day long. I'm not worried about going out here trying to buy these pair of Jordans or this diamond ring or these fancy clothes. When I come home from work, I'm gonna put on a pair of shorts, a t-shirt. I'm gonna sit on this couch and drink me some beer and watch TV. All the other stuff will come later. I had to make sure my wife had what she needed, my children had what they needed. That was the sacrifice that I took because I could have been selfish and focused solely on me. You see what I'm saying? However, as time moves forward, what was once becomes a sacrifice can be looked upon as commonplace because you always do this. This is nothing new for you. So, your sacrifices are now starting, your sacrifices now can be overlooked. And now we have another problem because when you decide you want to start something out and doing this, now your habits are changing, and he or she may look at you like, hold on, what's going on? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? I just want to do something for myself. But you never do anything for yourself. Who got your eye? Now the different questions and accusations come in because you're stepping outside your norm because you want to do something for yourself for a change. So with sacrifice and communication, everything still has to go hand in hand. One has to listen and listen effectively to understand what the other one is dealing with and saying to them so that both parties can understand to always maintain a happy medium.
Okay. So is love by chance a physical thing, mental thing, or emotional thing? You think
It's
that
all of
one
the
person?
above. It's all of the above. It's emotional, it's physical, it's mental, it's all of it. Because think about it like this: you have some people that's striving for love so bad that, for lack of a better phrase, they would slit their own wrist just to get affection from somebody else. They will go out there and sacrifice their own bodies just to get love from somebody. You see, that's mental and physical and emotional. You see what I'm saying? Because you have people out there who have never experienced love. They've been abused by mama, they have been abused by daddy. Brothers, sisters don't care. No one's giving two damns about them. Yet and still, they're still looking for love and willing to sacrifice and willing to hurt themselves to get love. I have a friend right now, honest to God truth. He's the oldest of four. And when his mom and dad had him, of course, he was the only child. They adored on him. They showered him with all kinds of love and everything else. When they started having the other kids, they focused more time on the other kids in his mind. It was equal and even, but more things became focused on them in his mind. So he started doing bad things to get their attention. Because why? If he did something bad, they would spank him. Now, this carried over into his military career and other things like that. He didn't get in trouble Navy wise, no. But what happened was with one wife, when it was everything was focused on him, everything was cool. When they had their two kids, the wife turned her attention to the children. They needed her nurturing and so forth. He couldn't adapt and couldn't accept. He went out and had an affair. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he wanted to get some attention on him. Some people desire attention so much they will sacrifice themselves and throw everything away to get that attention. That's what a lot of times what I feel about reality TV and these shows that's on TV. These shows can still desire so much attention and love and adoration that they'll go out here and make a fool of themselves just for people to talk about
Yeah. Brother Duncan, tonight I would like to please welcome our subject Grandmaster Nathan Duncan. Uh, Tonight we switch up the show just a little bit. We talking about what is love, but from the male point of view. How do we see things and feel things? Because we so often hear how the women hear, but no one really hear how the men feel. So I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked Brother Allen. What do you consider and feel love is?
Well, for me, when it comes to love, I think true love is a very hard thing to actually define. What I think about true love is something that you have to feel and something that you have to experience. And as we go through the moments of life and we go through those different experiences, we'll begin to see what it is that moves us, what naturally makes us feel happy, what brings us joy. And then we could take all of those different virtues and morals and good things and associate those with that internal feeling that we have. Sometimes I think we want to have love, but we're getting into situations where we'd accept and we'll take too much. We'll get beat down too much in so-called in the name of love. And that's because we don't see love as actually being a tie to success, tied to joy, tied to happiness, tied to being fathers, tied to being mothers, all of those good things. I like the collectiveness of what I think love is for me. I think love is something that will allow you to have appreciation for the overall picture from the small details. So I'm going from generalities to specifics. I think love can follow all the way through once you have that genuine heart that you want good or something greater to happen. That's what I think about that.
Okay.
So, you know, sometimes even going through the pain, if we stay focused on the main goal, then we could work through pain. I remember somebody asked me a question one time. They said, "Why have a plan?" I said, "Here's the interesting thing. If we was going to Florida, we had a plan. Say the plan got messed up. Here's the thing: if we got lost, we still know we going to Florida. That's the point of having a plan. It'll always be able to get you redirected. And so I think love is that important to me because I associate love with God, with the Most High. And so no matter what goes on in life, I will always be able to redirect myself based on love and what I feel is right and what I feel is just for everybody, including myself, because it's attached to God.
Okay. Some of my viewers made some statements that I want y'all to take a second to respond to. One person said, "When you feel incomplete, you look for love outside of self." Your thoughts?
Yes, I was speaking on that. I think sometimes, yes, you can feel incomplete and some people will search for love. But I think that the mistake they making is that you have to have a certain level of completion yourself. You have to have a certain amount of self love and have a connection with the Most High, in my opinion. Uh, they're intact so that when you meet that person, that you're actually completely shaped to match that person. See, that's the problem. If you keep thinking you're going towards that person incomplete, no matter how much you're looking for them, you're going to find an incomplete situation. But if you looking at the situation as though you are complete in the sense that I am what it needs to take to be with somebody else and have that love from that different perspective, I think that will help you out rather than looking at yourself like you're incomplete, but looking at it that you are complete and you and that person are a blessing to each other.
Brother Allen, would you like to
That's a
respond to that?
very that was a very good statement, brother Duncan. Very good statement. A lot of times people look for others to complete them other
Mm,
than realizing their self-worth and not loving themselves enough to understand their self-worth. And with that comes the responsibility of knowing how to move for lack of a better term. You know, that self-worth will give you your completion. So regardless of what's going on over here, you're already complete because this one person cannot truly make you complete because unless all three are walking with God, the Most High, and you taking that walk together, everything's going to always be fine. You will always have your hiccups. You will always have your issues, but you can always come back to your center line and move as one. If I'm looking for one person to complete me, then I'm looking for them to guide me. I'm looking for them to make me whole when they can't make me whole. Only God can make me whole. And I think once we understand that, I think we'll have a better place.
Okay. One of our viewers said that love should be freely and freely given, but in most aspects, I think love is still going to have to come with a cost because you have to give of yourself and part of yourself to find that true love. You know, you could it come freely, yes, but you still have to put in that work to get it, keep it, and preserve it. So, do you think love just come freely without any work or energy put into keeping it or getting it? Or do you think it just automatically happened, gentlemen?
I think it depends on the scenario and the situation with the love that's being shown. Now, if it's with my mate, my wife, then let me rephrase this. Let me rephrase this. Love should always be freely given. And like you said, it should have precautions. But it depends on the type of love that's being shown. For example, we can show love by pulling up beside someone on the highway, holding a sign, and giving a few dollars. We've shown love. There's really no precautions in that. We're showing love. We feel we're doing a good deed for someone sitting out there on the curb. You see what I'm saying? We
Yes.
can show love by helping an elderly woman across the street. No precautions really other than making sure neither one was getting hit by a car. But we still showing love to help her across the street. Now, when it comes to those closest to us that we say we're in love with and that we want to grow old with and build this life with and have children with and whatever else that comes into play, there are certain precautions that have to come into place to not just guard myself, but to guard the person I love as well. Because we're one. If this person is, going, if we're gonna talk Bible, let's go. If we're gonna say that this woman is my rib, then why would I hurt myself? And a lot of times we do that. I've done it. I've made those mistakes. And I've hurt myself by hurting my wife. You see what I'm saying? So to get this moving, we have to understand that there are certain precautions. You know, I don't frequent nightclubs anymore. I don't go to strip clubs anymore. I don't do a lot of I like my cigars. I like my bourbon. But my wife typically participates with me in that now. She's learned to grow with me and accept some of the things that I do where before she wouldn't accept it. But that's where the growth and the understanding come in. But also a precaution on her part because she don't know who's gonna be around me. So she don't want me to fall victim and to be weak in a moment that someone think that I'm drunk or whatever else and try to take advantage of me. So she's also here to protect me as I'm there to protect her in situations as well when she would do things with her sorority and stuff like that. So it works hand in hand. But though, and that's where the precautions come in. But we have to still walk that line together.
Okay. Duncan, your thoughts about giving love freely, or is it something that you have to work for or pay for to get it, keep it? retain it?
Yeah, I think that initially love will always start off freely, coming from the spirit, coming from the creator. But I will agree with my brother. When you start talking about wife and kids, now love starts. Other things are in there. Whether you're being a protector, you're being a provider. See, now when all those things are taken into consideration, now can love cost? Well, it depends on your character. See, now if you have the type of character where you will do something that will harm somebody you love, then yeah, love is going to cost you. You have to sacrifice that sort of behavior not to be harmful towards them. So I like to always start with myself first. So what I see is that it can cost if I'm not correct myself because I don't want to harm them, and so I may have to sacrifice certain behaviors that I have to make the situation better. And that will work both ways. So at that point, I would say that yeah, love will cost in order to maintain and allow that love to grow. There will be what we call sacrifices that will be necessary. But I don't like to make it seem as though some people want to put the word cost, they seem negative too much. But that's really not a negative thing. When we realize is when we say we do unto others, we want others to do unto you. Therefore, that's that give and take. That's that unity. That's that heart for heart, minds and yours. We're going to share and exchange. So when we see it that way, it sounds much better than just saying, what is it going to cost? No, how are we going to do this together? There's our sacrifices we're going to have to make equally. That's my
Okay. So
I
I have
like
a
that. I
question.
like that answer, bro. I like
I
that
have a
answer.
I have a question then, which another viewer asked. Can you have be in love but have no self love?
Yeah, that happens all day, every day. And see, that's a person that sacrifice. And I would say that's a person that sacrificed so much of themselves, they forget how to love themselves because they're too busy trying to take care and love everybody else. See, and that's how people lose themselves and at some point mess around and snap because they're not being heard, they're not being listened to. It's very easy for a person that's freely giving love, that's freely giving themselves, their time, their energy, their essence to one person, multiple people, anything along those lines, and feel that they're not getting anything back. That goes like what I said earlier. See, completion is not your responsibility to complete me. That's my responsibility. That's mine. Now, for me to complete myself encompasses everybody else. So I can be a better unit to freely love, to freely give of things, and to understand that, hey, when it's time to stop, stop. It ain't gonna be no harm loss. It's not gonna be no love loss. I just had to stop and pull myself away. But to your point, oh yeah, it's very easy for that to happen. Very easy.
Hello, before we go on, we would like to please welcome Sister Duncan, Priscilla Duncan. Tonight, as you know, we're talking about love, and we, I'm going to let you answer it if you have a time before we go to Brother Duncan. Can you have self love before without and still be in love with someone?
Are you asking that to me?
Yeah.
Okay, do me a favor, ask me that one more time.
Can you have self love without having self love, but you in love with someone, but you don't have no self love for yourself?
Can you be in love and not love yourself?
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, I understand where Brother Allen was coming from, so I agree with that. But for me personally, no, because I feel like your first love is yourself, and from a personal standpoint, I can't love someone without loving myself. And maybe because I'm so madly in love with me, just that I can't fathom not loving me and loving somebody else. that's in a relationship, and even with my children. I can't imagine not loving myself, but still loving my kids. I mean, I think that it comes from my love for others, comes from the love I have within, and it pours out. So, I don't know that I could do that, but I totally get where he's coming from.
Yeah. Brother Duncan?
Yeah. I see my sister point. As far as personally, we probably could never do that, but also understand Alan, because people will definitely love something more than they love themselves. See, sometimes people have identifications of what love is, and they're not that. But then they see those identifications in somebody else or something else. And so it becomes that deep. They become more in love, even more with the person. And people can't understand why they're so attached to the person. It's those things that the person have that they associate with love. And that's when it becomes dangerous, because now we see people stuck on drugs, stuck on people, stuck on anything. It doesn't really matter, because if you identify things with love and you say that you don't have them and then you see them, it's natural for people to seek out and then get attached to them and will up to give anything just to be attached to it, because they actually want that internally themselves, but they think they don't have it. So that's a danger.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. I think
Yeah.
yeah, people do that, especially when it does come to things like drugs. People definitely do love, you'll love your vices more than you'll love yourself. I see that. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it, I'm hearing it, I'm understanding it. It's just hard for me to process because of how I operate. So, it's
Okay.
kind of like I understand what you're saying, and I see it. I've seen it in different people, multiple different ways. But I understand it from a looking out point of view, not from a personal standpoint.
Okay.
Understandable. And see, and
So
let's not just look at it as a drug standpoint, because people use that love in a sex form as well.
And food, sex,
They say that
money.
if I go sleep with this woman, sleep with this dude, they gotta love me, and that's not the case.
That's right.
You just you just giving up yourself for a moment in time.
Very true.
You're just trying to satisfy whatever that need is for the moment, but
Exactly.
that's a lack of love for yourself.
hmm
And so how do you truly love something if you don't love yourself?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's pretty tough. I have to have that self-love, that I was listening to I don't know if y'all listen to it. Y'all listen to the Breakfast Club? Y'all ever hear like Charlamagne the God and Angela
I don't
Yee?
like that dude. I really don't like that
You don't
dude.
like Charlamagne? I kind
No,
of
no,
like
no.
him.
But see, I'm also a guy that I don't watch reality TV shows and none of that garbage. I can't stand none of that garbage. That's just
Okay.
me though.
Okay, all right. Well, it's not a reality TV show. It's a podcast. It's a morning podcast. So anyhow, he was saying this yesterday morning. I think it was yesterday morning. He was saying how self love. It's like it starts. It's your first love is your love. I just totally agree with his point of view, and that's why I was asking. Did y'all listen to it? Because I'm gonna have to run back and listen to it
What's
again so
good,
I can
bro?
give you all those words verbatim.
Doing
But
a
it was
podcast.
really good about how he was trying to explain that the love that you have inward is what comes outward, and if you're doing those things to your body and to your mind or whatever, your emotional well-being, if you're not taking care of that, then how can you truly love anything? I mean, come on, like I love flowers, but I don't love flowers more than I love me, so I mean, I like all this stuff, but no, it starts within.
yes. One of our viewers said love should be greater than anything.
But love for what, viewer? I'm saying love for what? Like you saying love for drugs, love for homosexuality, love for poison, love for the
That's
clouds,
a
love for the rain.
that's a very
Yeah,
vague
that was
statement.
broad. That was broad.
Yeah, what's love of what?
Okay, and
Love of cars, love of weed. I like
okay,
bourbon, but I don't let
okay,
bourbon run my day.
okay.
What are we talking about with love here?
Yeah, I need, and then what my girl say? What's love got to do with it? Like, tell me, give me more, give me more. I need to know more.
Well,
Where you
it's like they say, love don't pay the bill.
okay?
Uh, it don't pay the
Love don't
bills.
pay
Yeah,
the
it might not
bill.
pay the bills,
Uh,
but hey, if your power go out and it's cold outside, that might be the only thing glove can hold you for.
But
Yeah.
might make you get up and go work so that way you can pay the bills. I love that
Exactly.
person, right?
Ah,
You want to do what's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
there
So
we go.
So
it happens.
so uh, it is always questioning. Nowadays, everybody looking for love either on social media by doing images. They
Are they looking
looking
for
at
love or lust?
both.
A lot of them out there
Some look,
thirst trapping.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
but some. I think the problem is more people don't understand what real love is. The definition of real love. They think that if somebody give them a like or a heartfelt emoji, they must love me because they gave me a thumbs up. They gave me a heartfelt emoji. They click on my views, so they must love me.
Man, you mess
How
around
do,
and get you a stalker. You better stop looking at it like that.
Well, the definition is with the turn of social media, I feel that the definition of love has changed. See, you have once upon a time, I'm a 70s baby. And we didn't have it. So we didn't have social media. So everything was built around being outside with your friends. If you don't make it in the house by the time the lights come on, you finna catch that L, you know. But it was a different way of growing up where we had some sort of love that was shown to us, positive or negative, but it was something that was shown to us. Now today, that showing of love is based, like Brother Sean said, it's based on social media aspects and what people think and believe it should be. If I don't do this for you, then you don't love me. If I don't buy you this, you don't love me.
It's
If you
conditional.
don't do and buy, it's so
Hmm.
it becomes a game on who does what and how people are and what people think love is supposed to be actual than what it used to be.
Well, they don't want the hard part of love. They want the fun, the easy part, the first,
Yeah,
the first few, the butterflies and flutters. They want that part of love. They don't want the working part of love.
yeah,
The yeah, we still have to make these things work through arguments, disagreements, through through good times and bad times. They're not looking for that. They're looking for travel day,
yeah.
and that's pretty
I'm
much
in
it.
my I'm in Miami on the beach. What
Okay, and
it
that's
do?
it. That's it. And they jump in love from one person to the next quick fast, because once that feeling of that first those first feelings of euphoria, once that passes, they don't know what to do after that. Another thing that social media does when it comes to love, they actually don't really connect. They meeting each other via virtual, and then when they get together they really don't connect that way. You done
They have
fell in
nothing to
love with
talk about.
somebody. Right. You don't fall in love with somebody who you never even been next to. Like it's I don't know. It's the strangest thing. Like it's I don't know how you can fall in love with somebody through the TV or the computer screen or the phone or through Instagram through some pictures, but it happens.
all right.
Yeah,
Well, we
But
know.
then you
I know
you
some
you
people
also
do.
have your first love. When your parents tell you, oh, you get over her, you get over him, y'all 12, 13, 14 years old, whatever it is, and they telling you don't know what love is, and you like, yes I do, and I think that it's so many. You can't disregard how people fall in love, but you have to be mindful of how you give your love and what do you expect back. What is love actually to an individual person? I guess it differs. There's a scripture. I don't know the scripture, but I know it's saying something about love is patience, love is kind, and it goes on like that. And all of those things embody love,
Podcast.
but love is also the hard part, So
See,
I don't know,
one
y'all.
thing.
I be going off on a tangent.
No, it's all right. It's all right, sister. One thing about love, going to what you were saying, just to sum it all up, what the good book say, is that love endures all.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the good books say. I want them to go. I want to go down the line of love is this, love is that. Nah, we just gonna say it. We just gonna get to
Mm-hmm.
the end.
Yep.
It endures all. It it endures all things. So, in order for love to endure all things, that means I have to accept the good as well as the bad. I have to accept the perfections as well as the imperfections. If I say I love you, you see what I'm saying? And seeing a lot of times in today's standards, for someone to say they love or to be in love with someone, they want to receive the things. And the moment something goes wrong, they out the door. They can't take us, like you said, my sister. They don't want to put the work in. They don't want to endure the rough patch. They don't want to endure the hard time. They don't want to go through none of that. They want the easy. They want the lustful part of it.
Right.
It feels good to me right now. We partying, we turning up, we popping bottles. They don't want to talk about this utility bill sitting back waiting on us.
So what y'all think about the time frame in which you can fall in love? Do you think there has to be a certain, is there such thing as love at first sight? Can you be 40, 45 years old and meet somebody and be in love with them immediately? Can can you fall in love after being around somebody for 2 months? Or does it take a full year, 2 years to really know so many parts of that person until you find out, okay, I do love this, or I am in love with this person?
Me personally, I don't think love have a certain time, but to see if it's going to be real and true love, that's a easy thing because sometimes
Podcast.
love people get confused with love and infatuation. Just because you
Mm-hmm.
infatuate somebody don't mean that you love that person, and don't mean that person love you. They might like you because you got on good deodorant. They might like you because you cook good food, but I don't mean they really love you. That just mean they infatuated with what you are or what you have or what you got around you. But when the lights get turned off, are they gonna still sit in that dark room with you to hold your hand and say, "Baby, it's gonna be okay"? So, but there's no time limit on love. It depends on the journey that you and your partner take to get to that point of love. Anybody can say they love you, but are they willing to take that journey to get to that real love with you?
So if you fall out of love, how you know you was in love? Because if you're supposed to endure, you're supposed to take it to the end. How you know you was ever in love with that person when you're willing to just let go?
But most people don't know how to endure no more. They did a quick fix. They got the McDonald's love. If in 5 minutes or less,
Oh, we finna
then they
dive
out the
down this
door.
rabbit hole. I see.
Right.
We
Yes,
finna
we
go.
are.
We finna go down. We finna go down this rabbit hole right now.
Yes, we are.
Let me help get my mind right.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
We on our way.
Yep.
but I think most people think now they that McDonald. I call it McDonald's love. Hey, as long as it hot and fresh, I'm in love with you. But time your fries get cold, throw them in the trash. Let's go get another order. You ain't trying
What?
to feel that hot because they don't taste good when it's cold, but it tastes
What?
great when it's hot. So we got to get out of that quick fix. We got to get it back into what mom and daddies used to have. Not the young some of the mom and daddies that we see nowadays. If it get a little rough, they out. But when they used to be the old mom and daddies were rough and hard, they still stay there. They still show up and put food on the table. They ain't disappearing because they're gonna
He said
withstand the
microwave
rough
love.
time.
Well,
Yeah, there is microwave
brother
love.
Sean,
Yeah,
the thing is, you know, again, times have changed. See, today's women like to wear the pretty lingerie and all that stuff there to try to keep that man interested. Madea wore nothing but a house coat and kept that joker in the house with 15 kids.
yeah, because
So
she had a gun
times
too.
are different.
She had a gun too. If he moved, he got shot.
Yeah,
so,
she was a gangster now.
so if he tried to move, one
Right,
foot might get shot off. So,
right.
Man,
so
But that
he
was
can.
love and loyalty. That wasn't just love. That was understanding family structure, that you needed to be around to grow, to sustain the family. That wasn't just love. Because what they say, Papa was a Rolling Stone as well. He was
yeah.
he
Yeah,
was around.
my dad. Yeah, my dad had 20 of us, so I know about that.
Your dad had 20 kids.
So yeah,
Yo, that's out of
My
he
control.
roll.
my granddaddy had 11.
It's a lot of kids. That's a lot of
11.
kids.
Yeah.
Now
Hopefully
I
we
do
can
have
get
a
out.
now I do have a great grandfather on my mama's side somewhere down there in Mississippi somewhere, where this dude here had two wives at the same time, and both of them had 10 plus kids apiece.
Ooh. So all the
See, I'm
kids had an
trying to get.
Irish twin.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to get
Yeah.
our subdistrict grandmaster Duncan to have about that many.
Oh,
We
golly.
striving we striving again to reach that since he's young and virile. So we striving for that for him. We got our fingers crossed for him, in good hope because
Don't bring in the 20, Nate, not the 20.
But back on topic, my sister had a good point when she said that was love and loyalty. See, in a lot of cases today, the loyalty is lost, and that's on both parts.
For sure.
The
For
but
loyalty is
sure.
lost on both parts because if something don't go right one time, they ready to throw in a towel
hmm
and call it a day.
hmm And
yeah,
start over
that's
with
what
the
I call.
next one in the DM.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why I call microwave love.
For sure.
Cause it's good for 1 minute, but after that 1 minute, it gone.
well, you
You
can at
gotta get
least air
another.
fry
I use my air fryer.
it. We can at
So
least
that'll
air
give you two
fry it.
minutes. That at least give you 2 minutes. But I think people nowadays have gone away from the true love and real love to quick and expedient love. They love the
I will
idea of
say
being loved.
that I will say, I speak to a lot of my girlfriends, and most of whom are married, but I remember even prior to them being married, it's for some reason it's like this stigma where it's this path to get to love, and and somewhere in the middle of that path has to be a struggle. And a lot of women, my girlfriends and we talk about this. It's like, why we gotta go through the struggle part? So why, like, that's the part that's not, that's where a lot of times when you just drop the relationship, when you go like, I ain't really fitting to struggle. I'm not finna struggle here with you like this. And I don't mean financially. I mean, I'm not trying to struggle to get my point across to you every day. I'm not trying to struggle to understand, to make you understand where I'm coming from, or for us to get on one accord where it has to be somebody out here who I can level with a little easier than this.
Yeah,
Like,
cause
I don't really, that whole struggle period. I don't know why it some it's not considered love sometimes. All right, here, I'll give you an example. You got LeBron James and you got Savannah James, this beautiful, wonderful couple, right? And then people would say, yeah, but LeBron loves Savannah because she went through the struggle with him. Okay, but him, I don't know this man from a can of paint, but him having that cheating phase, the quote unquote, because I don't know what's true and what's not true, but him having that phase and her having to go through that struggle, why did you have to go through that road of going through this struggle period in order to find love? So why can't it just be like, why can't we be on a plane cruising the whole time?
Because to me, if you don't put nothing in or willing to go through the rough patches, how can you get to the good patches? If you just expect everything to be good and perfect, how can you expect what's going to happen time your tire get flat? You gonna call AAA or you gonna call your man? If
Was
you, so sometimes you have to go through that little bumps just to see if that person is real. I ain't say cheating is good because I would never say that is good, but sometimes you go through rough patch to see if that person is real to you and to the relationship that you have. Because anybody could be there for the good times, but can't anybody be there for the bad times or the rough times? So sometimes going through something, you might not be really going through it, but you might betray it just to see if that person is going to be man or woman enough to stand by you to see if you should completely give yourself fully. Sometimes it won't always be that easy, quick fix, fun loving patch, but sometimes that patch need to have little wrinkles in it for you to know if that person loves you or what you have or what you're about, just to get you to that point. So sometimes the struggle is good to know if that person is real, because you can have the best day every day, but does that make it real? Or is that the illusion that you want it to be to say you are in love? Or is it a mirage? Because anything can look good, but it don't always be good. Your thoughts, brother Duncan?
Yeah, I think sometimes you go through stuff just so that people can work it out and we can see each other characters. And you can see those characteristics that y'all both have to see if they blend. Because one thing that happened is why stuff I think can't just run smooth is we're making the assumption that nothing's going to be wrong with us. So let's say I might be having a bad time because I'm mad at work, I'm mad at something to do with something else, but now the woman I with may feel that from me. And so now it's not a problem between me and her, but there is a problem because I have an attitude. But see, if we already been through situations and it came up with me, she would have an understanding of, no, I know when he's that way, this is what's going
Hmm.
on. And so going through stuff allows you to have situations where y'all learn each other. So for the future, y'all don't have miscommunications. Now, if you continuously have those miscommunications, then you know you're in a situation you probably don't need to be in. But initially, you can go through stuff to work out things to get to know each other better so that you can have a smoother future.
Okay, I can roll with that. What you
So
thinking?
okay.
Because I was about to say, I see your eyes going.
Well, I'm gonna jump to the other side of the coin.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump to the other side where you have those that feel that if there isn't any struggle, there's really no love. Because you
Mhm.
have those that like to feel if we're not arguing, we don't love each other.
See, that's what I
And you
can't do.
have and
Right.
those people
Right.
have
Right.
grown up in that.
Right.
They've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a lot of issues come in at.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect story, perfect example. I grew up where I saw my mom and pops fight. I never wanted to be that guy. My ex-wife grew up in an environment where she saw her mom and pops fight. She never wanted to be the victim. So
Mm.
what happens? I don't want to be like my pops because I see this. My mom and dad was young when they had me. My mom was 16, getting ready to turn 17. My dad had just turned 18. They didn't know nothing about life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Both her parents were drug addicts. They was on that Nino Brown.
Mm-hmm.
you know. So what happened was she felt she could abuse me because she didn't want me doing that to her.
Mm.
But it had to be the struggle. Now, of course, I love myself more than that because I didn't want to kill nobody. I wouldn't be here today talking to y'all. So I had
Okay.
to go ahead. So I had to go ahead and cut that ass loose.
Mm-hmm. Exit stage left.
Yeah. However, you have those that feel they have to go through that struggle for someone to show them love, for them to feel that they're being loved. You have those that want to be slapped on and hit on to feel like they being loved. Everything that everyone said has been true. But here's the other side of that coin. It's a messed up game on that side.
Mm. So true. Sound like a Bobby Whitney affair type thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yep.
know.
But they was on that powder, not that Nino.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
but we ain't want nobody digging up nobody tail and getting out some stuff either on camera.
Oh, most definitely.
And
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Whitney
Mm-hmm.
did. But I think true love will withstand all the bumps and grimes that you go through because you know there's a foundation there. If there is no foundation, then there can be no love. No foundation, you can't have understanding of who you are and who they are. So you have to have a solid foundation before you start to say I love you or you want love from somebody else. That foundation has to be there. Sometimes people may misjudge you because they think that if I come at you this way and then you come at them that way, you don't love them. But that's not always the case. I'm not talking about physical. It may be just be verbal because sometimes
Or
you say,
emotional.
"Well, I'm not going to allow you to abuse me." Or say what you feel like you could say, but you don't expect me to say something back to you. That's where you come in that self love and self respect. A lot of people think I can say anything to you because I love you and you love me, but not realizing just because I may love you, don't mean I'm gonna allow you to mistreat me or abuse me. So they
Okay.
have a separate thing.
So do you think you
Right.
could teach someone to love you the way you should be loved then?
No,
Oh,
no.
yes, you can. Yes,
Okay.
you can. Yes, you can. See,
Talk about it.
and that comes with time. Cause see, that goes back to what you said, my sister, the work in love. Because see, you can teach somebody how to love you if you once they truly learn how to speak your love language. But I know my brother T already put a message up here saying we got 15 minutes.
Oh.
So, brother T, I know you in the background listening. We got to do a part two to this. We got to keep this party going on this one.
So my thing is this. Yes, you could teach somebody to love you, but first you got to show that you love yourself enough for them to love you. Because if you pretend you somebody else, then how can you show somebody that you love them or they love you? You have to show somebody that how to love you. You got to first start with yourself. You got to first show yourself how to love you before anybody you can show anybody how to love you. If you don't love yourself, as you said first earlier, how can you show somebody else that you love them or how to love you if you don't love your own self? So first you got to start and take care out of response and connection. Just say, "Hey, I love me. I'm going to show you how I love me, so that you'll know how I want you to love me." If I can't love myself, how can I expect to show you how to love me? You got to put everything in perspective. You got to love first. You got to show love first.
Man, you know how much I
Everybody,
gotta like somebody to want to take the time to show you how to love me? You better be a pretty
See,
decent mother. Like I ain't got that type of time. Like, man, yeah, you
love,
could
look
but
at
take the
love
time
don't
to
have
teach
no
somebody.
time though. But
oh
love
you
don't have
know
that
no
no
no no
time.
oh, whoa, hold on. When it comes to me, Yes, it does. Because see, here's the thing. I'm gonna show you how I love myself. I'm gonna always look good. At least I think I do anyway. I'm gonna always smell good. I'm gonna always take care of those that's around me. You're gonna see how I move, how I take care of my family, how I take care of my business, the whole 9 yards. If you can't move like me, you better stay to the sideline because I'm gonna steamroll over you because you're a waste of my time. And I'm not gonna get caught up in that. I'm gonna leave you in the background. Now that's the 48-year-old me. The 19, 20-year-old me would have did all that talking. Hey, this is what I like. This is what I prefer. This is what I feel. Because like I say, because in part two of this, T, we got to do a part two to this. I know you hear me. We got to talk about men not truly expressing their feelings and keeping themselves bottled up. Women will tell us all day long how they feel, what they want, what we think. And for the most part, we stay bottled up until we blow up. And that's not
That's
healthy
not
for
healthy. Yeah,
nobody.
it's not.
And
So
that's typically what happens. So, oh, this is gonna be good. We might do 4 parts to this one.
all right.
I see some with this. I see some with this.
But I want us to have more response from everybody. Hopefully, we can get some more females on here for the next one. I know our next show supposed to be how do you recognize real friends and friendship? That's going to be an interesting topic. But
And
that's
see,
also lead back to the same one that we on now, love.
hmm
So it still leads back to the same thing, love.
everything with anything and everything that we do, with anything and everything we do, I feel it will always come back to love, because love is the base for everything. If you don't love what you do, how can you truly be successful? Or you just moving through the wind, being blown every which way? It's gonna be
Brother
interesting. It's
That
Brother
happens.
Allen, next week I want to invite you to come back on the show. Also, just talk about how do you recognize friends and friendship? A lot of us in different Masonic orders, but and we say, well, that's my brother. I love him because he's my brother. But do you love him because he in the same order, or do you love him because he is a good person to you? Because there's a lot of BS going out there about what real friendship is and should. Do you love them because they brought you some bubble gum, or do you love them because they give you told you need to buy some bubble gum? Which
this
one
this
is
is what I'm gonna
true?
try to do next week. Thank you for the invite, brother Sean. Thank you. What I'm gonna try
Uh,
to do next week, I'm gonna try to set up shop here. Right now I'm in the cigar lounge close to my house, Burning Desire right here in Cordova, Tennessee. I'm enjoying a Legal Velvet Rat cigar and a little bit of bourbon trace. But for next week's show, I'm gonna see if I can't get my cigar family here, and I'm gonna have my tablet set up to have them sitting around me where we can talk about friends and friendship, and where family comes in as well. And I'm gonna try to get all of us on the stream at the same doggone time.
All right, and y'all still welcome to invite Sister Priscilla. You welcome to invite all your girlfriends to talk about what friendship is, because sometimes friendship have to deal with love, because
For sure.
sometimes men and women are hard dealing with. You got to go to the friends. When things go bad, and then sometimes they be like, "Oh yeah, I ain't like them really anyway. I just like them because you said so." If you were my friend, you're gonna tell me the truth. The truth never hurts. It might hurt, but you'll get over it.
But
So you
sometimes
better
your
learn how to
friends
Kid
don't want
Rock.
to hurt you. So sometimes they don't say things because they don't want to hurt you. So I mean, I don't want to get
But
too much
or
into it
the
because I know that's next week's, but
yeah, yeah.
that's
But
when
then the thing is, are they your real friends to let you get hurt, when they see something that you might not see, because you might have that infatuation going on. So, or they need a real friends to keep it to themselves and let you
Or
go
are
down
you
that
that
rabbit hole.
woman who be asking questions and really don't want nobody opinion? Like it really depends on the dynamics of the friendship. Like different your players gonna hold a different spot. You gonna have you
Uh,
keep it real. You gonna have you keep it gentle. You gonna have you gonna keep my mouth shut. And they all are still your true friends. And even within friendships, sometimes y'all have different relationships within the friendships. Even if you got a core group of five, you're going to have different relationships. But I see we got to get final words, so y'all know my final word
Yeah.
will always
Yeah,
be the same. I wish
I,
upon you all love, peace,
yeah.
happiness, health, wealth, success, guidance, financial abundance, and prosperity. I wish you all creativity, motivation without procrastination. I love you all. Good night.
Good night. And Brother Duncan, would you like to say a little something? Oh, I think he already gone.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
participation. It was a good conversation.
Uh, yeah.
Wish everybody had a blessed night. Take care.
Uh, all right. Thank you. And Brother Allen, would you like to say something?
I would like to thank everyone that participated, that spoke very well and very eloquently. Those that sent the messages in for everything going on. Thank you for your comments and your feedback. Please understand, we'll be doing this every Tuesday night.
Tuesday.
So please chime in, come back and see us. Hopefully, we can speak something to your soul and to your mind and to your hearts. We love you
Yeah.
all. Thank you.
And I would like to say thank you all for agreeing to watch the show. Thank you all for agreeing to being a part of our family. We are District 13 of the Grand United Order. Our fellows are here to give back to our communities, to uplift our communities. We're not here to tear it down, as our goal is our motto is friendship, love, and truth. And so we want to give that back to everyone. No matter what race, creed, or color you are, we still believe in friendship, love, and truth. So next week, please come and join us for how do you recognize true friendship, true friends, and friendship? Because not everybody who say they're your friend is really your friend, and not everybody who say they got friendship for you really got friendship for you. Some people just want to see how much they want to get from you. So we're gonna delve into that rabbit hole, and then in a few more weeks we're gonna have part two. What is love? But we're gonna get on that. We won't hold back. Brother Allen been holding back. We'll let him get nice and grimy and dirty and go down that rabbit hole, and wherever we come out of it, it comes out of it. So please come and join us next Tuesday and we hope to see you again. And we appreciate your time and effort. Thank you. Have a good night.